All right, we're live. Going to share that for a second. Okay. So, just got done running around doing a bunch of dishes and laundry, all those other kinds of fun things that we do, right? So today I wanted to I went over the anxiety PDF that I put in the group, and then last week I went over um, the other PDF that I gave you, which was how to clear your energy, different ways to clear your energy. So today, what I wanted to go over is the PDF that I put in there um, about how to develop psychic ability. So right now it lets me see that there are some people in the group, but it doesn't tell me who you are. So if you have a question, make sure that you put it in the chat. I can look up here. Candace, if you're watching, I can go to Messenger and you can let me know if somebody has a question in Messenger. So the PDF that I gave you, it started out with noticing that there is something bigger than you. And I think that's the biggest thing is, well, I didn't always know I was psychic. Hi, Louise, how are you? Destiny, you're here. So if you have a question about psychic ability, what it is, how do you develop it, where do you get it? Hi, Tanya. Um, Let me know. Dust, if you see anybody ask a question that I can't see, you can let me know. Okay. So I didn't always know I was psychic. It's what I was doing, but I didn't always know that's what I was doing. So um, one of the things is when I was married to my first husband, he came home one day. I had made extra dinner. So I was about, honestly, I was about 16 years old. That's when I was married the first time. And I had made extra dinner. And he come home and he said, why did you make extra dinner? And I said, I don't know. I just had a feeling you were bringing somebody home. And that was the psychic ability that I had that was already working, but I didn't know that's what it was. And then as I got older, between 25, 26, 27 years old, my mother really started getting into all things spiritual. Uh, Way too many things spiritual, really. And she started taking me to psychic fairs. And I would go to these psychic fairs and I would get readings. And I actually still have a couple of those tapes today where the readers would say to me, you have to stop. You're way too strong. And if you don't stop, I can't read you. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, okay. Um, but then I started to really kind of get interested in it. And I started to notice that there were things like light bulbs turning off or songs coming on at weird times. Synchronicities is what they call them, not coincidences. Synchronicities. Synchronicities are different from coincidences because synchronicities are the universe's way of giving you signs. Coincidences say, no, it just happened. Okay? So I would have these things happening, and I started to notice that, there's something going on here. There's something more. So that's the first step is to have that idea that there is something more, that there's something greater out in this world than you. And what that really is that is your soul waking up. It's your soul waking up inside and knowing that you're more than just this human body. We have this human body, but inside of us is a soul. And that's your soul waking up. When you start to question, like, is there psychic ability? Is there spirits? Is there angels? Is there guides? That's your soul waking up. And the answer is yes. There are all of those things, and there is a way to learn and to tap into that. So the first part is noticing that there's something greater than you, and then getting really interested in that. Start paying attention to. So the second step is to start paying attention to those synchronicities. Okay. Um, and noticing, like, my niece is on here. So uh, there's a point where my niece was living with me, and we went and got her a car. And within the first 2 weeks of having that car, everything on the dang thing broke. Everything broke on this car. And I was so mad that we had just spent this money, bought this car. The battery broke, the starter broke, the alternator broke. So I go back to the dealership and I'm like, look, you guys, we just bought this car. We've had it like a couple weeks. We're already fixing all kinds of things on it. Like, you need to do something, right? And the car dealership basically told me, "We don't have to tell you about your luck. Sorry." And I was so livid. And I go to walk out of that car dealership, and my brother's song had come on. And now my brother had passed away already years prior, right? And he had a certain song when he passed away. And so I'm in this dealership yelling at them about my niece's car. They're basically telling me, sorry about your luck. You bought a bad car. I go to walk out and hear his song comes on. And I looked up and I'm like, you know what, Chad? I don't even want to hear it. That's a synchronicity. It's not a coincidence. That is a sign. So he was trying to send me a message saying it was going to be okay, but I was really too mad to even hear it at that point. Uh, we eventually got the car fixed and running, and it lasts for a while, right, Des, until we backed it into a tree or whatever. So you first notice there's something greater than you. That is your soul inside waking up. Then you start to pay attention to all these synchronicities, okay? So it can be light bulbs going out. It can be songs coming on the radio. It can be a movie coming on a show. It can be somebody saying something to you. Um, so I was talking to somebody the other day, uh, and I was trying to decide, is this the right thing to do? And then all of a sudden, this lady started talking about hot air balloons out of the blue, and how she was so afraid to get in them, and how now she likes them, and now she's buying her own. And I was trying to make a decision as to, is this something I should do? Well, the synchronicity there is my mother, who is now passed, um, she got married in a hot air balloon, right? So that's more than just coincidence. That's synchronicity. So that's the second step. Okay. The next step is to start to pay attention to what we're getting. So I'm going to explain again that inside of us we have our soul. So you have your human body, but inside of you is your soul. And your soul, there's a direct telephone line to source. It's a direct line right to source, okay? And all you have to do is basically just say, hey, what should I do right here? So you have to start to listen to that. It's called intuition. That's your direct telephone line to source. Just start listening to that, listening to what you get. Um, when you go to a store, do you hear, don't go there? Do you hear slow down? Do you hear wait? That's your intuition. That's your inner sense of knowing, saying, you need to stop. You need to pay attention. Okay. Now, the key here is to not argue with what you get. And that is the hardest part, is learning to not argue with what you get, what you're feeling inside. Okay. The other part of this intuition, so on the handout, I put listen to your intuition and not argue with it. So um, when you get messages, you need to pay attention to those messages. You need to uh, start to notice when you're getting them. So like one day, um, I was in the shower and I was thinking about how tonight seems to be your night, Destiny. I had had my niece for like a week or whatever, and I was in the shower and I'm thinking about this, right? And I'm thinking about how I had her and how I had called my brother and said, hey, um, how long is she going to be here? And I didn't stop to kind of pay attention that that was a message, that was something coming through, because the second I got out of the shower, he called me and asked me to babysit that weekend. So that was my intuition tapping into the field, knowing that he was going to call. But if I had stopped and paid attention for a second, I could have put two and two together. I could have said, you know what, my brother's going to call me. He's going to ask me to watch Destiny. Okay? So that's how it happens, is you will get a thought, or you'll get a feeling, or maybe you'll get a vision. And if you pay attention to that, then you start to say, okay, I need to do this, or I need to call that person, or I need to go here. So you want to start listening to the intuition. You want to start paying attention to it. Oh, Louise. Yeah, that happens. When we're close to people and something happens to them, we can energetically feel it. I've heard many stories of people, like waking up in the middle of the night if somebody passes, all kinds of things like that. Definitely, because everything's energy, guys. Everything is energy and everything's connected. That's why. So when somebody close to you passes or something happens to them, or maybe they're just having a bad day, or they're just off, or maybe they just need help, it is sent out into the universe, into the field, and everything is energy and everything's connected. So you definitely can get a message. You can get a feeling. Um, I know that when one of my girls is having a hard time, um, there's a lot of times where I will I will call them, and then I'll find out that they had, had a rough night last night. They were up crying. So then I was up all night. My one daughter, Candace, she's really good at knowing when I'm upset, even without me telling her. She's really good at that. So um, those are definitely synchronicities, and those are definitely energetic connections. Okay. So these are ways to start practicing psychic ability, to start to know what it is, to start to learn it, pay attention to it. The next part is it's kind of like having fun with it. So not just paying attention to your intuition and what you're getting, and then trying to make yourself say, hey, okay, I just thought of so and so. So do I need to call them? Do I need to, um, are they going to come over? Maybe I'll run into them. Um, yeah. Another one is a person is writing that her boss got chest pains when her father died. It's because everything's energy. Um, so the uh, the next thing to do is to actually start practicing. You just start practicing. So when you walk into a room, take a second, just kind of sense what's going on. Feel that energy. Is it calm? Is it angry? Is it chaotic? Um, Also, you can try to sense people's energy. They don't even have to be looking at you, because we emit an aura, we emit energy off of our body, and it's largely based off of our emotions and how we're thinking and how we're feeling. So it projects out. And so you could just walk into a building and just kind of sense uh, how are people doing. That's practicing. And usually what you'll find is you'll be right. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to make a giant prediction for, 2021. You just start practicing. You can keep it to yourself, Um, you can um, start to uh, guess what time things could happen. You could say you're going to get paid. Try to guess the numbers that will be on the check. Just any way that you can practice. I even had somebody that they took a regular deck of cards once, just a regular deck of cards, and they would practice. They would flip the cards, and as they flipped the cards, they would try to guess which one it was going to be. So you can practice it in any way that you want to practice it. Um, it's what if you're feeling what everyone is feeling? How can you single out? Okay. Uh, Usually I can do that. Like I can use my work for example. The question is if I walk into a room and I can feel what everybody's feeling, how do I single out situations? Well, like at work, I can walk into my front office and without even really saying anything, I can just kind of feel, you know, who's okay, who's not okay, who's having a hard day, who's grumpy. You can feel if somebody's angry. That's intuition. That's you reading energy. Um, so I think you would be able to feel what everyone's feeling. Yeah. Um, so Darcy, clarify for me, why would you want to single out one situation? The fact that you can feel what everyone's feeling is okay. Um, but why do you want to single it out? So it can be empathetic, empaths, sensitive, people call them. They're all kind of the same thing. It's intuition. It's your inner sense of knowing. It is your psychic ability that you're uh, born with. We all have it. It's just a matter of learning to develop it. We all have this ability. You have the ability to walk into a room and know if somebody's mad, and they don't even have to say anything to you, to know if they're happy, and they don't have to say anything. We all have that ability to do that. Okay? So the next thing is starting to track your journey through journaling. So if you got a thought that somebody about somebody and then they called, I, I want you to write it down. Um, if you get a thought that somebody is sick and then you find out that they were sick, or that you shouldn't go somewhere and then there was an accident, I want you to start writing it down, okay? Because this is going to help you to, one, notice that you have the ability, and then two, um, affirm to you, like, oh, wait a minute, I did think that and they did get sick, or I did think that and the accident did happen, or so that is going to strengthen your faith in yourself, your faith that you have this. Oh, you felt everybody's feeling, so you couldn't pick it apart. Yeah. Um, that would take the ability of singling into just one person. So you could feel um, what everybody's feeling. So if you had a room of like 10 people, I can kind of feel what each person is feeling. And I can also feel if, like, say I'm having a conversation with them, I can also feel who is resonating with what I'm saying and who is not. I can also feel when what I say to people clicks, like they get it, and when they don't. I can feel when people say things to me, and then if I say something to them, I can feel whether they liked what I said or not. So it's more of learning to, uh, instead of having that energy spread out, Darcy, just hone it in onto one person. So you basically tell the energy, okay, I'm going to focus on Bob. I'm going to look at Bob. And you just kind of hone it in, okay, instead of it spread out. And then you, from there, you can kind of move over to Sue or, whatever. So that's how I would do it. If I want to hone in on somebody, I just kind of direct my attention there. So yeah, that's how you can learn how to control it like that. So is by honing it in. So instead of it being all spread out and I'm reading everything, I just kind of zone in. It's almost like a focus. Like I'm going to direct my energy here. I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at your energy field for a minute. I'm going to see what I get. And then when I'm done, I'm going to put you aside and I'm going to hone in over here. Okay, that way you're not spread out across the board, reading too many people at once. Try to hone in. See if you can try to harness that in there. So um, I want you to start writing down what you get. I want you to start writing down what happens. Just kind of keeping a journal. Keeps track of what you're getting, how often you're getting it, what kinds of things you're getting, and also helps you to watch your evolution as you're growing. You can see that you're getting better at determining when things are going to happen, or you're getting better at listening to what you get. Okay. You weren't meaning. Yeah, you're accidentally on. Yeah, learning to turn the psychic ability on and off is a skill that you do have to learn to do. I know that when I first started, I was just so excited that I had the ability that I just left it on all the time because I just wanted to read everything and everyone, right? Because it's just so much fun. I've always loved this kind of stuff and loved magic. Like when I was a kid, I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched were my favorite shows. So it was just always kind of my thing. So in the beginning, I kind of really just left the ability on all the time because I wanted to read everything. But the more you do it, the more you learn to actually turn it on and turn it off. Um, and that takes practice to learn to do. We're not always psychically on. Like I'm not always psychically on. I can be, but I've learned to kind of not be so much, to not open that channel as much. Um, I don't need psychic ability necessarily in the grocery store when I'm getting bread, right? Um, so you learn to turn it on when you need it or when you want it. But at the same time, you still allow the channel to be open for guidance if you need your guides or angels or whatever need to come through. Okay. Um, the other thing that I want you to do is to not just journal like, what you're getting and how you're developing, but I want you to write down like any dreams that you are having, any things that you're hearing during the day, visions, because they can all come through all of those. They can come through your dreams. They can come through visions, daydreaming. They can come through hearing things. Some people see things. Some people feel things, smell things, all those different kinds of things. Everybody does that. All right. The next thing is meditation. Meditation does help, and not everybody like, oh, I gotta go meditate for, well, yeah, you gotta learn to meditate some. Meditation is actually one of the bigger keys in life to feeling better, to correcting your energy, to intuition, getting answers, healing. Meditation is actually the answer. And do I meditate for hours? No, but I do meditate several times a day for short periods. So I may meditate in the morning for 10 minutes, but then I will do it again at night for another 10, 15 minutes. Okay. Meditation is not always just, a long drawn out process where you're listening to this long meditation and you're going, way deep down. It can just be a few minutes of just clearing the mind and just being silent. So That is the other thing that helps with growing your psychic ability. Your psychic ability is meditation. It does help. um, Opening your third eye. So when you do the meditation, practicing opening that third eye and opening that chakra. Do you guys know about chakras? I did, Candace. I used to make, you guys, when I got into this, I so got into this. Like, this was the best thing since sliced bread for me when I got into the spirituality world and the psychic world. And I had my three girls at that time, and I had some tapes, meditation tapes, and I said, girls, come on, let's go meditate. And I would have them come lay with me and we would meditate, and it would drive them crazy. But they did it with me. So, yes. So, just, and Candace is mentioning that simple breathing. That is true. Just simple breathing and noticing your in breath, and then just let it go. Just noticing in breath, letting it go. Breathing in positive, breathing out negative. Breathing in positive, breathing out negative. You may throw them away, daughter. But I want orange juice. No, my daughter's talking to me about orange juice right now. Um, eh, so the breathing does help with the meditation, but I have to say meditation is probably one of the biggest keys. If you can go on YouTube and find a meditation that you like, if you can go on YouTube and find one that you like for opening the third eye, they are very helpful and they do work. My next suggestion on here is to listen to sound meditation. Okay. So I'm going to say this. I know I said this before, but I'm going to say it again, that because everything is energy, your body is energy. Your body is made up of molecules. It's made up of um, elements. We got H2O in there, which is different atoms and molecules. And what are atoms? Atoms are protons, neutrons, electrons. It's energy. Everything is energy. Your body is just a state of energy, and it's vibrating at a frequency that makes it a body. The table is vibrating at a frequency that makes it really slow and makes it a table, but it's still energy. Okay? So when you go and you listen to sound meditation, it's going to be set at a certain frequency, at a certain hertz, at a certain energy. And when you listen to that, it's going to change the vibration in your body. It's going to affect you. So that's why I always suggest sound meditation. Okay. Um, so I go and I'll type in sound meditation third eye, and I'll listen to that. That sound meditation pineal gland. That's the one of the main glands for psychic ability. Sound meditation relaxation. Sound meditation, my toe hurts. Anything that you want, anything you want to listen to, anything that you want to learn. Okay. Use the sound meditation. It works really well. It works really fast. So number 9, I put in here coming out of the past and the future and being in the present. And that is because when you're doing psychic ability, you may be looking into the past because it's energy and looking into the future because it's energy. But if you want to build your skill, you want to learn to not be worrying about your past or your future. You want to be right here, right now, in the present. So, Candace, Edward. One of my main teachers that I used to listen to develop my psychic ability was John Edwards. Phenomenal psychic medium. I still have those tapes. Okay. So coming out of the past usually has a lot of regrets, has a lot of things that, maybe we don't like, that are not fun. And we usually it leads to sadness or maybe depression or bad feelings, bad thoughts. So I try to stay out of my past as much as possible. And I suggest that if you want to feel well, unless you're, actively working on something in the past, try to stay out of the past. The past does not normally help us to feel better. Okay. The future usually carries with it fear because it's unknown. And the mind can project and create fake scenarios as to what the future is going to hold. So it's also not the best place to develop your psychic ability unless you're doing visualization, a purposeful manifesting visualization, okay, where you're trying to manifest what you're going to what you want or what's going to happen. So does all of this make sense so far, you guys? The noticing that there's something greater than you because you are a soul. Um, the starting to notice the synchronicities, not coincidences, synchronicities. Then starting to listen to what you're getting and then following that. Not arguing with it is the key. That's one of the bigger keys, is not arguing with what you get. Starting to journal everything, your journey, what you're getting, and then practicing. You can even go down as far as getting a regular card deck and trying to guess which card is next. Even though I've probably done thousands of readings at this point in my life. I never really did really good with that card thing, guessing the next card, but so it just wasn't my thing. I do know people that have done it and have done really well. The meditation, that is being still and being quiet, um, and then staying out of the past and the future is kind of another type of meditation. While we're not sitting with our eyes closed and breathing and asking for source to come in, it is kind of a meditation because we're focused on now, right now, this minute. What's going on? How do I feel being present in right now? I'm not worried about the past and what happened and what I can't fix. I'm not projecting into the future into what I can't control, but I'm just staying here right now. Okay. And I'm open and I'm listening. I'm available for whatever guidance I can get, whatever can come through to me. Right. So then we talked about the sound meditation. Go to YouTube, type in sound meditation. One of the biggest ways that many of the teachers talk about, and they bring it up every time, is to go into nature. Okay, now go into nature and try to just listen to the trees. See if you can just listen to the trees. Just be there. Be in that silence. Be in that energy and that calmness. See if you can listen to the grass and sense the energy in the grass. There is an aliveness that is in everything. And while, like in Michigan right now, we can't go out in the trees, but you can try to do that by looking at a plant, by really just sitting and gazing at the leaves of the plant. That was one of the most favorite things of when I started listening to and researching the near-death experiences. They all said the same thing. They all said that on the other side, that everything is alive. Everything has an energy. Everything is vibrant, including the grass. Even the grass was alive. Even it was so vibrant. Everything has an energy. So what we want to do is just try to quiet down and try to connect with that energy. See if you can feel it, if you can listen to it, if you can hear it. That creates so much peace. The more that we are at peace inside, the more we can connect to the other side. The more we can connect to the messages that we're getting, the angels, the guides, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. Okay, the more we can connect to it. So on this list, I don't know if you guys looked at it. The other thing I put is following, learning, and listening to spiritual teachers, uh, reading spiritual books, as much as you can. That is one thing that I did is I read and listened to everything I could get my hands on. Absolutely everything I could get my hands on. And the more you can learn, the more you can practice, the more you can grow, the more your abilities will open up. Um, and I think that in this society, like with the kids that are being brought up today, I'm kind of excited. Um, Even my niece just wrote me a couple days ago about um, my great nephew, and he wanted to be psychic. He wanted to just know things. Um, that to me is, and the fact that we're open to that as parents, and we're open to letting that be okay and letting that be a thing. Um, Versus when I was growing up. Now, my dad was open to it. My dad, he entertained those ideas with me, and my mom was open to it. But a lot of families are not open to the psychic ability, uh, to the intuition, to the spiritual world. And then my daughter talked to me about my grandson who um, he seems to be talking about heaven and what it's like in heaven and where his last lifetime was. So these kids, oh, he's watched this session too. Oh, hi, Rowan. It's Fasha here. Um, so as parents, this is what happens, guys, is we are much more open to it now. But when I was a kid and when I was growing up, being psychic wasn't okay. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't allowed. It wasn't a reality. Having intuition, having guides, the fact that we are a soul inside of a human body, and that just wasn't a thing. And we were taught that it was crazy, um, that you couldn't tap into God, that you couldn't tap into Source, that you had to go to church to do that, that a preacher or, hi, Rowan, a pastor had to do that for you because you weren't worthy enough to do that. But that's just simply not true. It's just simply not true. And what happens is, as children, um, are still connected to Source. They still um, are open to that energy, and they're still connected to who they are as souls. But then as they start growing up and they start going to school and stuff, and they start to lose it. They start to lose that ability. They start to lose that connection. Even if you watch like Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy runs away and then she comes across the gypsy, and he's a fortune teller, right? And he's going to tell her her fortune. And what happens in the show? They have him cheating. They have him lying. They have him sneaking in and looking at the picture in her basket and going, "Oh, you have an aunt that's upset." Right? So it's portrayed as a fake thing, that psychics are fake and that they're not real and they cheat. So we're taught, even through our movies, that this isn't okay, that this is crazy, but it is so untrue. Psychic ability and intuition is the most natural thing there is. That's actually what Jesus came here to teach us. Jesus came here to teach us that. And we all lost the true meaning of his teachings. We lost that. Jesus was an Essene, is what he was, from Nazareth, and Nazareth, where there were known to be Essenes. It's like I don't want to say a tribe. It's like a group of people. he knew as much as he did. That's why he was so connected to God as he was, because he was raised that way. He was raised um, learning all of that from birth. And what he actually came here to teach us was that we are one with Source. And that's why he constantly said, ye are all gods. He didn't say, I'm God, I'm only God. He said, ye are all gods. And what he meant was, we are all part of God. We are all from God. We are all from Source. We all have this ability. It's natural. It's our natural ability. Okay? So, as we grow, we learn that this is not okay, that this is crazy, and that we shouldn't do it. And then so we stuff it down and we close it off. And then what usually happens is um, one is if you tend to have, we have suffering in our life is what happens for most of us. We end up with a lot of suffering. We end up with a lot of pain and some really tough life lessons. We have a death in the family, or we have some other big event that happens that stops us and wakes us up and says, you know what? There's got to be more to life than this. And then we start opening back up to these possibilities that we are more than just this body. There's something greater. Um, but like with my grandson and with my nephew, um, these are just a few examples of, and I know, Luis, you do this too with your grandchildren. You know, we're starting to teach these children from a young age to never forget this, to stay connected, and to stay in the belief that we are more than just these bodies, that we are a soul, and that we have these abilities. So, um, I'm hoping all of this makes sense to you guys. Uh, and if it doesn't make sense, let me know. If you need me to clear up something, let me know. So, what I can tell you is, what I have found over the years is that the more that you practice this, the better and the stronger the ability gets. Okay? The more accurate it gets. So the more you practice, the more you try to sense energy wherever you go. They say you can do it even with food, you guys. You know this, right? Uh, I think I probably told you girls this, my girls that are on here. But let's say that you are going to want to eat something or drink something, because food has energy too, right? Has energy. Uh, Makes sense? Okay. So another way to just practice like learning energy and learning that everything is energy and everything has an energy. So let's say I'm playing with, you guys can see this? It's one of my crystals. So I'm playing with it. But let's pretend that this is like an apple that I'm going to eat. Okay? So I'm going to take this apple and I'm going to hold it. You hold it in your hand and you put it up, like kind of up against your heart. Let me turn this down a little bit. And you ask like this. So you're going to stand with your feet kind of a little bit apart, like shoulder length. You're not going to, go too crazy or anything. Just kind of stand normal. Just kind of hold the apple in your hand and then just ask, and you can close your eyes or you don't have to. Um, does my body need this? Or you could ask, should I eat this? And what will happen is, if it's a yes, your body will lean forward. If it's a no, your body will lean back. It will naturally do it. You don't have to force it. You'll be amazed if you try it. And that goes for vitamins too. So if there's a vitamin you want to take, you put the vitamin in your hand, you hold it up here, and you say, should I take this vitamin? And your body will answer it on its own, because the vitamin has an energy and your body has an energy. And if you ask your body, it'll tell you. It has its own wisdom. It can tell you. if you should do it or not. And then let's say you want to take a vitamin C. Okay, so you get the vitamin C, put it in your hand, you take it here, you're standing there. Should I take this? The body says yes. Okay, so I should take this vitamin C. But what if you want to know if you should take more? So then put another, yes, Darcy, it does work. Yep. Put another vitamin C in your hand. Put two. Should I take two? Says yes, okay. Put another one in your hand. Should I take three? And then your body says nope. Okay, so I should take two. It's okay. That works. It absolutely works. Why does it work? Because everything's energy. And your body has this internal wisdom that you have to learn to listen to. Now, do I take every single food and put it up to my chest? Absolutely not. I don't, but you could. And they say that um, it's it's a good thing to do and that you really should do it. Eckhart Tolle is one of my favorite spiritual teachers. And he says that he'll walk through the grocery store and pick up a pineapple or whatever, and he'll just kind of hold it. And he'll just kind of wait and see if it feels like he should buy this pineapple. Um, because he's reading the energy. He's listening to the energy. He's feeling the energy. So these are some other ways that you can start to learn to practice listening to energy, developing your psychic ability, learning what it feels like to read energy. That's really what we're doing, is we're reading energy and we're interpreting it in the human mind, in the human body. So we're just feeling it, and then we put words to it like happy, sad, angry, good, bad. We're just putting words to the energy. We're putting descriptor words on the energy. Okay? So all of this makes sense to you guys? You guys have any other questions for today? Anything else that you want to know or you want to learn? Um, I have used that kinesiology method for, um, should I take a vitamin or not? I have used it. It does work. I haven't used it so much on food, but you absolutely can use it on food too. Making decisions about your food, whether you should take something or not. So hopefully this is some, and my thing just broke. My beads just fell off my, ah, I have to figure out how to fix it. Look, I just lost my beads to my thing. I'll have to get a new piece of copper on there. So anyways, that's what I wanted to go over with you guys tonight. Was about the psychic ability and kind of like what I've done to build my psychic ability. One of the other things that I've done is I just listen to, like, if you find a meditation or a person that you like to listen to and you feel like they're helpful, listen to them over and over and over. The repetition is the biggest thing. So, I would listen to my meditation tapes at night, like every single night, night after night after night. I would listen to them. I'd listen to them while I sleep. So, again, I want to remind you guys that when you're sleeping, the brain is in theta state, okay? Theta state is programming state. So if you want to learn something and you want it to stick and to be programmed, you listen to it at night. That's when you listen to it. The child's brain is actually in theta state up until around age 6 to 7. So everything that happens in the child's life up till that age is actually getting programmed into them. So one of the ways to program or reprogram your own brain is to do it at night while you're sleeping, because you go back into that theta state, that programming state. So otherwise, you guys, I hope all of this is helpful for you. I hope it makes sense. And, please, if you have more questions, let me know. And then I will be back next Tuesday to talk to you again. If you guys have a topic you want, you can let me know. Otherwise, I guess I'll have to pick a topic and see. We'll probably have to go back to something about self-esteem and anxiety because it's been a couple of weeks. I did make a new PDF about crystals to teach you about all the different crystals that help with psychic ability. I might be able to go over that with you guys. Put that into the group and go over that with you. Otherwise, have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Oh wait, Darcy. Oh, yeah. So that does happen. Um, Usually, if your phone is going to play meditations at night, and you have it on autoplay, um, it depends on like your list. So if you normally listen to spiritual teachers, perhaps the next video will be a spiritual teacher. Um, but there are some of them, Darcy, that are out there that are uh, 3 hours long, 4 hours long, some are 8 hours long. You could pick one that's really long, um, or you could just turn the autoplay off for the nighttime so that it doesn't pick up, the next video that's coming. You could do that. I usually just let it play, and then I usually pick one that I know is really long and that I like for sleep time. But if you want the guided one with the words and you're worried about that, I would just turn off the autoplay. And that way it'll just shut off. Um, you can too, what I used to do is I actually bought, you have a CD player, and I actually bought the CDs. But on my CD player, I can push repeat. So it'll repeat that CD. Um, yeah, you could try to create a nighttime playlist too. That's an idea. I don't know how to do that in YouTube, but you could do that. Um, or if you find somebody that you really like, you could listen to, you could buy the CD. And like I said, on the CD player, I have one that's next to my bed for that purpose because I like to listen to teachers or meditations at night. I will put it on repeat so it will play again. Yeah, I don't know. Candace, maybe I don't know how to create a playlist in YouTube that would go on repeat like that. You know how to do that? Okay. She knows how to do that. That's a good idea. I need to do that. Candace, you have to help me with that. So, anyways, yeah, and you guys, seriously, think of things that you want to know. I did for this group. I'm about to expand this group, like really, really expand this group. And I definitely want to be able to answer more questions, more things. I did create a podcast, so these videos that I'm doing, I'm putting on the podcast. I'm also putting them on YouTube. I should create a meditation. I should create a meditation. Darcy, why don't you write me on the side and tell me what you would want in a meditation? Like, what would you want in a meditation? And maybe I could create one for you um, that would help you. Do you want it to be specifically for third eye? Do you want it to be for the different chakras in the body? Uh, do you want it to, um, take you to a specific place? Or perhaps you want it to meet with a certain guide or a certain angel. Uh, what would you want in it? Maybe I could create one for you. But there are thousands and thousands on YouTube that you could use. But I was just thinking maybe I could create one. You okay? But let me know what you would want. If you guys want a certain meditation and you want it to maybe take you to a certain place, um, or meeting a certain person, or meeting your angel or your guides, or just opening your third eye, we could just do that. That's where I'm saying that one of the biggest things is meditation. That's one of the biggest ways to open yourself up, to open your energy field. It's also one of the biggest ways to ascend and to heal on your enlightenment journey. It's one of the biggest things. Okay. So definitely let me know what you guys would like, and I'll see if maybe I can do that. Especially now that my kids are back in school, maybe I could do it during the day where there's nobody else here. As long as my new kittens don't cry. My daughter got new kittens. One of them walks around just crying for no reason. It's kind of crazy. So, but anyways, I would definitely be willing to do that for you. So let me know. All right, guys, I'm going to get off and go do some dishes. And I hope you guys have a great night. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.